in terms of its government organization and the administrative boundaries of the provinces and cities. So in my presentation, I will give an overview of our context, our raising issues, and the strategic directions for transportation system development. Here we focus mostly on our transportation system because we are aware that transportation now is in our country is the bottleneck of the bottleneck. So we have to somehow having some strategic directions for our transport system. And then there will be some key takeaway. So regarding our context, so since July this year, the whole country has been rearranged in our government organization and administrative boundaries of the provinces and the cities. So Ho Chi Minh City, before we are only the yellow part, but after July 2025, we has been merged with other nearby provinces to become a Ho Chi Minh City megacity. And now we have the area of more than 6,000 square kilometers, the population of approximately 14 million, and we contribute to the national GDP about 24%. So currently, the city transport infrastructure lacks synchronous connectivity, leading to the localized congestion in the core city center and its gateways. So our raising issues include the first one is the lack of connectivity and synchronicity. Our transport system has many bottlenecks and lack of the backbone access. Like we lack the complete system of the ring road, and we don't have dedicated railways. So that hinders the direct connections, and especially for the goods from industrial zones to the very important ports of the city. The second issue related to the overloaded of the roads network. We are really reliant on the roads and the construction of the ring road number 3 and ring road number 4 is very slow, so which caused severe congestion and reduce the travel of the goods as well as the commuting of the people. The third issue is the disconnected development. So there is a big gap between the urban development and transport development, and would lead to the spontaneous urbanization and pressure on our infrastructure system. So what is our vision for Ho Chi Minh City? We want to become an international megacity in the Southeast Asia. And we want the city economic model need to be restructured with innovation and high technology involvement. We want to increase investment in infrastructure and mobilize abundant human resources. We want to build our city to be a regional logistics, financial and trade center. We have a very big plan to build a financial center in our existing city center. And also, we want to develop a lot in industrial center, in other in Bình Dương and port and logistic hub in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu, which the Bình Dương and Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu are two provinces which have just merged into Ho Chi Minh City. Meanwhile, we want to maintain the role of the cultural, educational, and scientific technological center of the region. So our strategic directions for transport system development is to building a synchronous, smart, sustainable, and safe transport system with the high capacity public transport as the mainstay, and this will optimize the multi-modal connectivity and transform the region to a leading Asian transport and logistic hub. We focus on the ring road networks as the very important network for the transport system. But at the same time, we understand that the urban railway is the backbone of the city. So we have a very big plan to construct metro lines. We have a very ambitious and big plan to build up to 355 kilometers of metro lines by 2035, and by 2045 we hope that we will have more 155 kilometers, and total investment for our metro lines is up to about, I think totally up to about 100 million US dollars. So it's a very huge project in Ho Chi Minh City. But anyway, we understand that if we don't do the significant improvement in our transport system, the city will be more and more congested, and we cannot go anywhere, we cannot do any kind of social economic development as our vision. So continue to our strategic direction, we understand that in order to develop the city sustainably, we need to integrate the urban development with transport development. So we apply TOD model. Yesterday I heard from our colleagues from Japan, they really concerned about our TOD model, which was developed by Japanese like 10, 20 years ago. They want to build a very nice TOD model in Ho Chi Minh City for the case of Metro Line 1. But until now, yes, somehow it is successful, but there are a lot of rooms for improvement. So we focus now, because we have a very big plan for Metro Line development. So we understand that TOD is our potential plan for urban development at the same time with mass rapid transit development. So we will try to shift from the very technical approach like we did before to a very modern and efficient approach. The next, our strategic direction is to develop a very green and smart transport system. Currently in our city, we focus a lot on the e-mobility development. We understand that we need to keep our environment clear by reducing the CO2 emission, and we also really concerned about the health of the population. So we are now having some plans to convert the bus and as well as the private transportation modes to be electric using vehicles. And we hope that we can have a very green, smart transport system. And by doing so, I understand that doing some kind of digital transformation is necessary. And also we are applying some kind of intelligent transport system in order to have a very good connectivity transport and also facilitate the mobility of the people. So it's not a very long presentation. I just want to have some insight that regional connectivity is very important for our new Ho Chi Minh City, because now we are very big and we need to connect place to place effectively in order to do any kind of social economic development. We need to apply very good TOD model in order to support transport and urban development. And also it should be a green and a smart transport system in order to facilitate the mobility of people as well as the goods. So there are core solutions that are very essential for Ho Chi Minh City to become a very global city, and can increase our competitiveness and can drive our social economic development. Thank you very much for your listening, and maybe later some questions and comments. Thank you.
For your presentation. And
how do I go back? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dongdong. I come from Beijing Municipal Institute of City Planning and Design. It is a great honor to be here to share some of Beijing's recent experiences in urban regeneration and to explore how it may connect with other global cities. On the era of global transition, megacities face common challenges such as aging populations, housing pressures, social inequality, and climate risks. For decades, people often saw urban regeneration as similar with large-scale redevelopment, but today it is understood more broadly as a way to improve quality of life and respond to diverse social needs. Beijing provides a perspective for observing this shift. The city's regeneration practices have moved beyond fixing old buildings and now focus more on improving social well-being, public space, and everyday life. To see this transformation in action, let's explore 5 themes of cases from Beijing. The first theme is all-age initiatives. Inclusiveness begins with the city's ability to care for people across different stages of life. The first case is in Changping, which is one of Beijing's largest residential districts, home to many young families. However, it has long faced a shortage of early child care facilities. The Beike Infant and Toddler Center here, it transformed a former wool factory into what is now the largest nursery in China. The building covers about 5,000 square meters and can accommodate 380 children under the age of 3. This project helps meet the needs of local families and show how old factories can be adapted for new social uses. At the other end of the age spectrum, Beijing is also facing severe challenge of aging. More than 5 million people in Beijing age over 60, representing 20% of the city's population. Given this situation, the Fanghuali family-based senior community transformed a cinema of over 20,000 square meters that was vacant for 30 years into a mixed-use elder care hub, combining medical care, residential facilities, and shared community space. It can provide 200 units that helps solve the elder care problem in this region. And together, these 2 cases show how urban regeneration can close gaps in social provision. The second theme here is inclusive regeneration, which focuses on who gets to remain and who benefits. In the historical core of Beijing, the Dashilan symbolic block projects pursued gradual regeneration of Hutong neighborhoods. With the introduction of new businesses such as cafes and boutique stores, hotels, the area generated revenue that can support the improvements of local living conditions. As a result, original residents were able to stay with a better living environment, while the neighborhood also welcomes new uses, allowing long-term residents and newcomers to coexist. At the same time, new forms of urban employment are reshaping social needs. Beijing has a large gig economy and which is growing rapidly, with more than 330,000 workers include motorbike delivery, delivery drivers, and Uber type drivers. However, many of them lack stable housing and basic access to city facilities. The Xiaoge's Home initiative responds to these social needs by transforming underused village housing into served dormitories. This project provides about 500 units and can accommodate about 2,000 people, offering rest areas, showers, and shared rooms. By improving living conditions, it gives new urban residents a greater sense of belonging. These 2 cases highlight how regeneration can promote equity by including often overlooked groups. The third theme here is transforming industrial space into everyday life. Beijing's regeneration projects are shifting from purely economic land use changes to the creation of new venue for daily life. Chaoyang district was once a major industrial zone in Beijing, where the former number 751 gas work complex has been redeveloped into a 21-hectare culture consumption district. It now hosts expansions, theater, night markets, and retail, making industrial heritage part of the city's culture and leisure landscape. Another example is The Box, a former department store that has been redesigned as a lifestyle center. The entrance, which used to be a closed doorway, is now a sloping stair with seating and greenery. The parking lot has been turned into a public square with markets and community activities. And also an elevated basketball court has been added to create new space for young people. This project shows how commercial renovation can serve as public and community-oriented space. Our next theme here is public space and culture memory. Urban regeneration can also help strengthen cultural identity. An example here is Liangma River Recovery Project. It restored an 18-kilometer section of river that was once polluted and fragmented. Today, it has become a continuous waterfront corridor that connects several major commercial areas. By bringing water-based activities such like kayaking and boating into Beijing's city life, the project shows how urban regeneration can reshape the way people interact with their city. While the Municipal historic neighborhood project focused on heritage preservation, it repaired and restored historic buildings while also introducing small-scale museums and community facilities. In this way, it sustains culture memory and also revitalizes local life. Together, these projects show that public space regeneration can both conserve tradition and create new opportunities for urban living. Our last theme here is area-based comprehensive regeneration. This is also a major direction that Beijing is actively promoting in recent years. An example is Fengzhuang large residential community regeneration project. This area covers more than 300 hectares. It integrates the renewal of housing, schools, elder care, commercial services, and green spaces. In doing so, it essentially reshaped the living system of the entire sub-district. Similarly, the Bell and Drum Tower area in the city's historic core has experienced an area-based comprehensive regeneration as well. This project embeds the conservation of heritage buildings with new culture and tourism functions, while also making improvements across the neighborhood to address residents' everyday needs. This example suggests how regeneration can move beyond isolated projects to systematic approaches at a larger scale. From these cases, this shows that Beijing's regeneration agenda is oriented towards inclusiveness and livability more and more. When we look across East Asia, we can find similar shifts. In Seoul, we see the Zhangye Line Forest Park transformed a disused railway into a linear park that enhances community connections. In Tokyo, we see Kagazaka neighborhood has preserved its historic character through resident consolidation and negotiated regeneration. This example suggests a regional reorientation from efficiency-driven redevelopment to life-centered regeneration, with governance gradually opening to participation by multiple stakeholders. A brief comparison with Europe and North America shows common trends. Projects such as New York's Highlight, initiated by local community organizations, and London's King's Cross redevelopment, such emphasize community benefits agreements. In East Asia, we see the similar shifts. Our long-term goals are converging. Whether Beijing, Seoul, London, or New York, regeneration is increasingly about making our cities more inclusive, livable, and sustainable. So in conclusion, urban regeneration today focuses more on reorganizing social life and improving quality of life. Beijing's practices show that regeneration can address all age needs, promote social inclusion, enhance public space, and drive systematic improvements at the district scale. Moving forward, regeneration will need to integrate equity into into planning frameworks, advancing district level governance, and expand civic participation. These are not challenges unique to Beijing. They are shared across global megacities, but they all point towards a common vision, a city life that is more inclusive, more livable, and more sustainable to us all. Thank you.
I think it's very tough to have this paper after speaking. Looking at the presentation before me, most of the cities, mega cities, is way beyond or bigger than Kuala Lumpur metropolitan region. We are catching up, but I'm not sure whether we are doing the right thing in the right direction, because of a lot of things happen along the way, especially on the population changes and demographic changes and so on. So looking at the paper, I like to highlight that I'm not talking about Kuala Lumpur or Klang Valley in the particular, because most of the studies or papers in the past talking about Klang Valley region, which is started from Kuala Lumpur all the way to Petaling district and Klang district, which is along the Klang River, which is a typical discussion of our Kuala Lumpur metropolitan region. But we have to remember that we have 8 other municipalities and also city council around Kuala Lumpur, which is under separate state compared to Kuala Lumpur, which is a federal territory, which is under direct central government. So there are 2 administrative centers. And of course, when we talk about Kuala Lumpur conurbation, so we have around 2,700 kilometers square, which is involve more than 16 local authorities, 8 districts of Selangor, and 2 other states in Malaysia. So it's quite big. So meaning that people movement working back and forth every day is between this region. So more than millions, 2 or 3 millions moving along these boundaries. And of course, we look at Kuala Lumpur. So what happened to Kuala Lumpur when we have so many people going to the north, south, and east of Kuala Lumpur? Of course, on the western side of Kuala Lumpur, we cannot move anymore because of the mountainous region. So we have to end up going now more toward the south, toward the Sepang district that we are going to discuss today. And of course, we look at the Kuala Lumpur population, we have a problem to reach 2 million benchmark population. So we have started for many years within that. Although in the past we have projected to have 2 to 3 million population in Kuala Lumpur, in fact it doesn't happen. Because whenever we have Kuala Lumpur expansion or increased number of population, suddenly we have open up new area for development. So people moving out of Kuala Lumpur frequently then coming in. So we have a lot of out migration from Kuala Lumpur. And we have these challenges, as I discussed earlier. We have decreased smaller number of household size, now 3.5 per family. And also we have increased typical problem, elderly population is increasing as well, but I think not as bad as many other countries in this region. And of course, other issue that we are looking at is in Kuala Lumpur is out of migration from city center to outskirts or suburban area. And most of the time they go to state of Selangor. So meaning that we have people moving out from the city. So what happened is we have to ensure that Kuala Lumpur still survive So we have a lot of people still working in Kuala Lumpur, although we have tried to make sure that the movement of people is not too much between the region. And of course, the reason people move out is because of the price increase in the housing, and also because of they want better living condition. They want better, bigger house and on the land rather than high rise in Kuala Lumpur. So we have also limited land availability in Kuala Lumpur. We only have about 8% can be developed. Then we look at state of Selangor, because when you look at the Selangor, the built-up area is increasing. So when you look at this map, that's less green left in the state of Selangor as well. So what happened is some of these districts in Selangor have increased number of population more than 30%, including Sepang district, which is located south of Kuala Lumpur. And this shows that more people moving out and stay in state of Selangor. So there are also demand for many things, not only housing, recreational, public facilities, and of course public transportation in this area as well. So this is Sepang district. We have about 338,000 population, and they have increased 37% population from 2010. So a lot of people coming to this district to settle. So in terms of regional context, Sepang district is where is our national or international airport, Kuala Lumpur International Airport is located. So if you enter coming to Malaysia, that's the main airport of Malaysia. That's why it becomes more and more important for the region and also for the country for that matter. And within 1 hour, we can reach Kuala Lumpur and other major cities within 2 or 3 hours. So not that far from other major cities. And when you look at this land use pattern, so toward the north, we also have one of our important cities in Malaysia, which is Putrajaya, where our MeTTA forum last year was held. That basically located within Sepang district. Although this Putrajaya is what I call it federal territory area, which is under federal government, but Sepang district basically is surrounded this capital city or administrative city of Malaysia. That's why a lot of, you see the pattern of residential area moving toward the north, and we have problem with the south part of Sepang because of separated by the international airport that located in the middle of the district. So we still have retained the traditional agriculture village toward the south of this district. But of course, we can see the problem toward the northern side of this district of Sepang, which is located not far from Kuala Lumpur. So what happened is we can see the pattern of land use residential is start focusing on this northern part, and also the commercial activities, and as well as industrial development. What important to see the impact of this new direction since relocation of airport to Sepang in 90s and also Putrajaya, so it have a direct impact to the development, especially on the traffic. So we can see that from the analysis that we conduct, the study, that more than 40% people moving out in and into the Sepang district is toward the north. So meaning that is to Kuala Lumpur and coming back. So meaning that people stay in Sepang and work in Kuala Lumpur. And also we have a lot of problem with the public transport, because we only have two main, what they call it, railway lines or transit line that connect Kuala Lumpur and Sepang district, which is one connected to the international airport, which is not going to be used frequently by the local for going to work and so on. And we have another line up to the Sepang district toward next to the Putrajaya. So meaning that it's not well served with public transport. Meaning 90% of people still using public transport, private vehicle to go to Kuala Lumpur. And of course, we have a lot of increase in terms of housing demand. When you look at the Sepang and Kuala Lumpur population increase from 1991 in Kuala Lumpur is only increased 73% compared to 494% for Sepang district. So a lot of movement of people toward this district. As well as housing stock, the increase is tremendous in the Sepang district from 1991. So basically more people buying house in this district. And people prefer to live in landed or bungalow or terrace house, so they move to this area. Then the price of property also increased over the years. Of course, the data here not from 1991, but we can see some of the property increase. And then the local people having a problem to buy their houses, meaning that the local people in district of Sepang, they can't afford anymore. So they have to buy somewhere. So we have a lot of movement of people to other districts because of price of property. So if this thing, the trend continue, we have a lot of trouble with public transport, infrastructure, and so on. So that is the concern in our research and study about Sepang district. So at the same time, the developer, private development start to look into higher income bracket housing, more expensive, that a lot of people can't afford to buy, even the local. So there's an imbalance between the demand and supply as well, to some extent. So we have nice houses, big houses, but no buyers to some extent. So in conclusion or discussion, we can look into economic spillover and growth, which is good, but at the same time have a bad or negative impact to the district. And also we have a lot of migration happen, although we keep building a highway, still not enough. And social cultural impact, environmental pressure, and also governance and planning challenges. So to conclude is we still need to have these two regions to work together and also have strong connectivity. Okay, thank you very much. Hamza Hamida. That's the only word that I know.
It is a great honor to share this stage with all of you. The topic of my presentation is exploring structure, inclusiveness, and resilience, the planning and construction practice of Shanghai Outer Ring Greenbelt. Modern realism runs through the entire process of Shanghai's urban planning. Every Shanghai master plan has adhered to spatial passion for the controlled urban area corrected by multi-centers combined with ring and wide-shaped open spaces. Shanghai's Outer Ring Greenbelt has undergone 5 rounds of planning and 4 phases of construction. Over time, the technique for planning, the implementation mechanism, and spatial governance models has continually improved. First, let's start with the origins of the planning and construction of Shanghai's Outer Ring Greenbelt. The original intent behind the Greenbelt was to maintain a reasonable urban scale and prevent disorderly urban sprawl. The construction of Shanghai's Outer Ring Greenbelt was closely tied to outlook for the scale of the central urban area in early 21st century. In 2002, the 400 meters Greenbelt project was officially launched. Subsequently, Shanghai developed ring parks such as Gucun Park, Binjiang Forest Park, and Minhang Park. Look at the photo we will show as citizens enjoy leisure and recreation in these parks. Among them, Gucun Park had become a popular destination. Now it's a cherry balloon theme, large-scale and convenient public transportation. During the 2021 Cherry Blooms Festival, daily peak visitors numbers reached nearly 130,000, almost double the average daily attendance at Shanghai Disneyland in the same year. Shanghai Ecological Network already links and extends the Outer Ring Belt. Under the guide of the Shanghai Master Plan 2035, we have carried out a series of planning efforts. Entering the spatial value of Outer Ring Greenbelt has continued to depend. The plan proposed creating the Row Eco Park Belt in the main urban area, formed by wide-shaped green space inside the ring and the ecological separation belt outside the ring, with an area nearly 3 times of outer ring belt. This achieves an upgrade from green belt surrounding the central city to a park belt traversing the main urban area. Responds to people's concept by organizing space around human behavior. It enforces a human-centered approach, responding to human structure, behavior, and characteristic, and projecting this into spatial and place design. Focus on implementation by coordinating multiple actors and tasks across time and space. Finally, I would like to share some summaries and reflections. The Outer Ring Greenbelt embodies iterative learning in planning technique and implementation. First, highlighting goals and values that continually match the requirements of development. Second, exploring policy mechanism for collaborative governments. The third, integrating multiple actors to promote co-construction and co-governance. The Outer Ring Greenbelt fully integrates the wisdom and the lungs of the government, inter pares, citizens, and other actors. In the future, exploring the models and paths for Greenbelt planning, implementation, and governance in Megacity requires further effort in strengthening integration and innovation, promoting urban and rural element interaction, converting ecological value. This year marks the 30th anniversary of Shanghai's Outer Ring Greenbelt construction. Shanghai is more than the Bund and the Nanjing Road. The city welcomes all of you to visit the parks of Outer Ring Greenbelt. That includes my presentations.
I'm glad to be able to share our research at the 9 MeTTA Forum. So I'm going to move away a bit from climate resilience, but we're still focusing on how cities need to be resilient for the future. So this year's theme on Megacity in Global Transition provides clearly a perfect backdrop for exploring how central business districts must evolve to meet our future urban challenges. So today I'll be sharing some insights on the transformation of CBDs globally and through Singapore's experience. So central business districts, also known as downtowns or city centers in different regions, have historically served as economic engines for global cities. So they concentrate our financial services, corporate headquarters, as well as high-value employment opportunities. However, the COVID-19 pandemic and the hybrid work patterns that evolved from it has changed the way we think about office spaces utilization, as well as the broader functions of our CBDs. Remote and flexible working arrangements have also reduced our daily footfall, challenged conventional real estate models, prompted cities to reconsider how our commercial clusters need to be more resilient to such disruptions. At the same time, they also face the challenges of managing land constraints and aging infrastructure, while accommodating evolving urban demands, all while competing globally for talent and investment. So these trends present both challenges and opportunities for building diverse, resilient, and adaptable CBDs for the future. So recognizing these challenges are not unique to us, the Centre for Liveable Cities actually embarked on a study to convene stakeholders across different regions. So we learned from cities such as Chicago, Glasgow, Sydney, Hong Kong, and Bangkok on how they are adapting their business districts. So the study distilled common themes discussed to come up with 5 key pillars that underpin the success of our future business districts. So they have to be connected, distinctive, integrative, vibrant, and responsive. What is encouraging is that the concepts are also evident in Singapore's current and future approaches. So firstly, connectivity is key as we create more human-centric environments. So our CBDs must adapt their transportation systems that serve both the live-in population as well as those coming into the CBD for different purposes. This includes strengthening regional and local connectivity, which reduces congestion as well as attract businesses seeking convenient location for employees. It also involves creating a more walkable CBD that supports vibrant street life essential for retail activity, while also delivering sustainability and health benefits. So as you can see from the diagram, our central business district is accessible through a comprehensive mass rapid transit network, and we have also added more cycling paths as well as pedestrian-friendly spaces. So today, the district that you see here has become quite popular among running clubs as well as cycling enthusiasts. Next, it's also no longer sufficient to just be functional and efficient. Our business districts must also be distinctive to compete with the increasing mobile business and talent. So cities use iconic landmarks and curate events to embed local identity into their downtowns to transform it into a more distinct community experience. In Singapore, we are planning for a well-balanced distribution of our polycentres across the island, each with its own distinct identity and focus. So for instance, we have the Punggol Digital District, which is a purpose built for companies in emerging technologies like fintech, cybersecurity, robotics, and AI. At the same time, more residential users, recreational opportunities, amenities, and green spaces will also be incorporated into the district. Cities must also shift away from our mono-use office. Instead, they need to be integrative, catering for live, work, play to meet the needs of different demographic and user groups through different times of the day. So for example, in Singapore, our Marina Bay area has been developed to support such an integrated live, work, play that activates the space at different times. So as you can see from the picture, it combines Grade A office towers with residential developments while also safeguarding recreational spaces such as Gardens by the Bay, as well as the Marina Barrage, which has an accessible green roof. So the Marina Bay waterfront promenade also supports various recreational activities and major events such as the iLight Festival that features light art installations by local and international artists, transforming the area into an immersive experience for the public. Additionally, we are also introducing more housing options in areas close to the CBD. For instance, the Greater Southern Waterfront will see the addition of both public and private housing. This will provide residents with more choices for urban living. So this also brings me to the next point on vibrancy. So how can I actually create business districts that are attractive destinations that people want to visit? Cities are creating 24/7 mixed-use destinations through nighttime economy investments, diverse activities, as well as strategic programming that transforms our CBD into vibrant social hubs and entertainment destinations. So Singapore introduced the pilot Business Improvement District program in 2017 to enhance vibrancy of a precinct. So the pilot program empowers the property owners as well as the businesses to take greater ownership and work together to tailor solutions and enhancements specific to each precinct. So for instance, within the CBD, we have neighborhoods such as the Tanjong Pagar, which have enhanced their appeal through community-driven initiatives like the development of an eco-playground, while public spaces like Raffles Place, the picture below, have been activated with diverse programming, including exercise classes, movie nights, as well as live music performances. Lastly, business districts also need to be more responsive to emerging risks and external shocks. As such, policies and incentives need to encourage flexibility and facilitate adaptive reuse of existing assets. At the same time, it needs to be designed for climate adaptation and mitigation in mind to strengthen resilience. So the Jurong Lake District, or JLD, which is located in the west side of the Singapore island, is set to become our largest mixed-use business district outside of the city centre. It's a model for sustainable district. So we have set actually sustainability aspirations for the district with a corresponding set of targets and initiatives. This includes an ambitious goal of reaching net zero emissions for all new developments around 2045, as well as pursuing sustainable mobility options and creating a green and sustainable environment through upfront district-level planning. So building on the 5 pillars for the future business districts, we also reference our Centre for Livability Cities Livability Framework, which distills the desired outcomes and supporting systems that underpin urban livability to provide insights for planning future CBD rejuvenation efforts. So as CBDs adapt to shifting stakeholder profiles amid resource constraints, the planning decisions must pursue cross-domain synergies that simultaneously achieve economic competitiveness, a high quality of life, as well as environmental sustainability. So identifying these synergies upfront allows for cities to channel resources towards initiatives that can maximize benefits. However, the cross-cutting nature of CBD strategies requires careful management of trade-offs and potential negative externalities, such as balancing your vibrant nightlife with resident amenity and tourist safety. So as CBDs serve a broader user spectrum with distinct interests to achieve these outcomes, collaborative ecosystem with strong stakeholder stewardship are often needed. So cities around the world are introducing integrative role, such as in Sydney, the New South Wales has introduced a 24-hour economy commissioner who supports the coordination of the CBD. So we have published a complete report from this study online, and you can scan the QR code on screen to explore the comprehensive case studies and examples from cities worldwide that have been included. I hope this offers some insights from Singapore's experience and the 5 pillars that can provide some inspiration for CBDs in megacities navigating their own transitions. Lastly, we hope you will join us in Singapore from the 14th to 16th June next year at the World City Summit to continue this important conversation on cities. Thank you.
And I feel that I'm lucky being the last presenter in the session because I'll narrate something different. You know, it's not just one city to present a case, but it's more about presenting how we look at cities, especially that there is like a first perspective or a first insights from that region, which is located in the West Asia and North Africa. So why we call it bridging regions, actually, because despite that it's the first presentation or first insight from that region and MeTTA forum, but also given that the Arab region is different in its demography, in its countries, in its cities, so we think our main task as Arab Urban Development Institute is to bridge the regions and bridge the cities. So let's introduce ourselves as Arab Urban Development Institute. We are an organization, non-governmental, non-for-profit, founded 45 years ago. It has a role to support cities that is in 22 countries with a number that exceeds 600 cities. So it is not an easy task for the Audi, but also the diversity makes more dynamic interaction between cities with different scales, with different challenges and ways of solution. 3 years ago, we developed a strategy. It's a short term, actually, and we decided that we need to classify our work and our activities into 3 main action areas. The first one is the capacity development, and now we are about to found a training academy for cities, and it will be like a knowledge hub. It will be a platform to allow cities to exchange ideas, to have the dialogue similar to what we are doing today. There are like defined activities related to international programs, training programs, coaching for mayors and leaders, special programs for leaders to like make this platform active. Also, the second action line is the urban policy research, and we have different activities in this action line. I think today I'll present one of the activities, which is Mudununa. Mudununa is an Arab word. It means our cities. So this is how we present our cities as Audi in the publication of Mudununa. Mudununa is a bi-monthly publication based on themes. So each 2 months there is a themes published in Mudununa. There is a sequence, a structure inside Mudununa. So today we used an issue that focuses on public markets, how it leads the economy of the city. The third action line is networking, and in networking we have also different activities. One of the flagship activities that we implemented this year, last May, is the Arab-European Cities Dialogue, in which cities from 2 regions met in Riyadh, and there was a dialogue between these cities, like exchanging the ideas, the challenges, the solutions, and the tools they are using in developing their cities and communities. And now we are planning to have Arab Asian Cities Dialogue, and we are in discussions with some partners in this regard. So I hope in future we will be meeting in our region. And interestingly, that for the European dialogue with Arab region, mayors decided that it's fruitful, so let's make it every 2 years. So the next round will be in Madrid in 2027. We had some achievements in just the last 2 years. So we trained more than 500 municipal professionals in more than 20 Arab cities in more than 13 countries. There was 3 policy briefs published, more 11 issues of our cities, of Mudununa, also 14 webinars presenting different cases from the cities, presenting like new initiatives in cities. And of course, the Arab-European Cities Dialogue was one of the flagship initiatives that we launched during the past 2 years. So the issue of Mudununa I'm gonna present is about public markets. And when we started thinking about the public markets, are they economic driver? We found that the perspective shows that it's more than economic. It's something related to the identity of the city itself and identity of the community. So it has more dimensions than being just an economic. We see public markets as a social hub that leads for economic activities and interaction between individuals and groups of the community. Also, it assists categories of the community to make a blockchain of productive goods that will be like produced or manufactured in somewhere around the city, then be sold inside the city. So in each issue of Mudununa, there is a structure that focuses on presenting the cases. And what we like focus on is having the contributions. I don't know what's the problem with the photo. Okay, I sent it clear, but maybe with attaching files or something, the photo doesn't appear. Anyway, always there are contributors in this publication. The first contribution always from a mayor in of a city that has contribution in the field or the theme discussed in this issue. So in this issue from Oman, Muscat City had a problem of neglecting the traditional market, and this affected some categories of the community around the city itself. The rural community faced problems in selling their productions, so they started to migrate or to move to the urban area in Muscat. So what the city did is supporting the rural areas and also like renovating the heritage market or the old market and also supporting the retail shops. So the city looked at the market, it's not just an economic hub, but also it's a part of the blockchain for making the economy active in the city. There are insights from Riyadh where we see the photo is some modern buildings, but actually what Riyadh did, despite these new buildings, the city center is working, you know, and there are efforts in like keeping the old, let's say the old handicrafts, how to give the identity despite the modernity. Some parts of the city still keep its traditional identity. Another example for the areas under risk, and we are presenting Aleppo. Aleppo, after all the conflicts in the area, there was problem in preserving the old market or old souk, we call it in Arabic language. So the old market was renovated. It was attached to a castle, the old castle, and it was part of a story inside the city. Another contribution from Cairo. And diversity of the cases shows that each economic driver gives the identity for the city. So now when we are talking about Cairo, we think about tourism. When we're talking about Aleppo, we think about culture and local industries. So economy is the factor that identifies city and the function of the city. It was not just these 4 cases. So this is the Arab countries, and the publication of our cities of Modena like presented 16 Arab cities. So this was like a bridging of regions. And there was classification. So what cities are similar? What cities can exchange ideas, can think together, you know, and can benefit from the solutions they provided. So some cities look at the local economy as a means for supporting marginalized groups. So some cities focused on youth and women. Other cities just look at the local economy is something traditional, but should be treated with the modern tools. So how technology could affect the traditional markets, even its storing system and its way of displaying the goods. So there was like cases from Rabat and Manama presenting how digital transformation could affect the local markets and the traditional markets in cities. So these are like the lessons we found from skimming through 16 cities around the Arab countries. So we found that there is a need for modernizing the way we are thinking about local markets. People will like to use their mobile phones, the applications, to navigate online before they go to the markets, for example. But one important thing is that the balance between the heritage and the modernity. So going into technology does not mean that the heritage will be neglected, actually. So this QR code is for publications of Moderna. I think you will find 11 publications or 11 issues of Moderna, and they are all available online. Thank you very much, and hoping to see you later in another occasion. Thank you.